Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Ethical scriptures of God is described in detailed manner. When we want to discuss about this ethical scriptures of God, it is a kind of subject which can be elaborately explained in a detailed manner. There are so many reasons are there to understand the essence of this, but it cannot be completed in few minutes. Therefore, I want to divide into two parts. And first part, now I am going to bring to your notice. Therefore, today I take the topic Ethical Scripture of God, Part 1. Let us start with prayer. Vyasam vasishtanaptaram shakte pautramakalmasham parasharatmajam vande shukatatam taponithim. Three authorities and the importance of logic. Tridha pramakaranam tarkyatehi. The authority is in three ways. Logical analysis is sufficient. The authority of these spiritual points is given by scripture, logical analysis, and experience as found in the narrated ancient stories like Ramayanam, Bharatam, etc. Shruti and Smruti. Yukti is logical analysis. Anubhava is the experience of truth of these points as found in the historical incidents explained in the Puranas like the Ramayanam, the Mahabharatam, etc. Some may discard the validity of these stories, doubting these to be imaginary creations of poets. But the logic explained in these points will certainly satisfy them also to practice, provided they believe in God, hell, and heaven. Responsibility of the doer in knowledge, devotion, and practice. Jnana bhakti karmasu kartaiva bhātyah. There are 24 doubts I am going to clear in first part. Now second doubt. In the chain of knowledge, devotion and practice, the doer alone is responsible. The true knowledge decided by logical analysis with the help of debates if necessary, alone can give the right direction in the spiritual path. The wrong knowledge will mislead anyone to wrong fruit. Knowledge is the mother of devotion, and transformation of knowledge into practice with the help of devotion generated by knowledge is the real path. Practice alone yields the practical fruit. There is no use of one confines to knowledge and devotion only. Hence, such a person is to be criticized and not the knowledge and devotion. Dharma, ethical behavior, is purely regarding practice. Third, selfish preachers are responsible for misleading the public. Swartha guravopi bhatyaha. The selfish preachers are also responsible for misleading wrong knowledge. Preachers are also responsible for selfish benefits They preach wrong knowledge which pleases the people so that they can get some benefits from the pleased people. For example, the fascination of family bonds is responsible for the sin of corruption, and the preacher shall preach the true knowledge. That decreases this fascination. The preacher fears that by such bitter truth he may lose the benefits from displeased people, and hence preaches wrong knowledge that promotes the materialistic welfare of the family, which strengthens the sins further. Fourth one. The bond with wealth is based on the bonds with child, spouse, and oneself. Dhanadharayoranyodeha chaturdaka. The two strong bonds are the basis for money, and the fourth body is foremost. There are three strong worldly bonds: life partner, issues, and wealth or money. The bond with money is based on the happiness of life partner and issues. Apart from life partner and issues, the happiness of one's own body is foremost, which is not separately mentioned because it is naturally understood since body is responsible for the other two bonds also. Fifth one. Lust, violence, and greed for the sake of wife and child are all related to the bond with oneself. Papatraya vikarau dehena cha. The three sins, along with other two forms, are also related to the bond with body alone. The two strong bonds for life partner and issues, including the own body, form the basis for sin committed in wealth or artha, which is the corruption as seen in present politicians and some employees. The Gita says that this kind of sin called as greediness is one of the three main gates of hell. The other two main gates are violence and illegal sex. Violence and illegal sex also participate in the sin of illegal earning related to artha. In other sins like killing of living beings for food and illegal sex, the attachment to body is exclusively responsible. Sixth one. Preventing misery in worldly life through reduction of fascination is better than cure. Pravruttau moha shakti niyama nirodho vada upashamat. In pravrutti, controlling the force of fascination is prevention, which is better than cure. The strong fascination to the worldly bonds like body, life partner, issues, and money is responsible for the sins committed in pravrutti, which alone are the sources of all these miseries and tensions. The reduction of the force of these worldly bonds alone is the path to escape from all these miseries and tensions. In pravrutti, these bonds need not be eliminated totally, but trials to reduce the force of fascination of these bonds can alone control sins and their resulting miseries. This is the path of prevention, which is better than cure. It means that in pravritti, control of fascination to worldly bonds is sufficient, and total elimination of it is not necessary. Partial fascination is also needed for ethical earnings for the sake of own body and family. Seventh one. The fascination for bonds drops on its own in the spiritual path. Nivruttau swayamapagato vranapattikeva. That means the seventh one says in Nivrutti it is dropped by itself like the medicinal strip from a healed wound. The total elimination of fascination of these bonds exists in Nivrutti, or path of devotion to God. But very important point in Nivrutti is that this fascination is not eliminated by any force as a prerequisite. This elimination is only a natural consequence that appears after the climax reached in the path of devotion. It is just like a medicinal strip applied on a wound, which drops away by itself when the wound is completely healed. Now, eighth one. No forcible effort is required anywhere in the greatest spiritual path. Na balayatnaha kutrapi pare. In the greatest path of Nivrutti, nowhere forcible effort is required to eliminate this fascination. If it is done against this instruction, the spiritual effort becomes perverted in more serious damage. The medicinal strip should not be removed by force in the beginning stage of wound or at any time before the wound heals completely. Therefore, no forcible effort is required at any time in Nivrutti. Ninth one. The root cause of detachment is devotion, never the opposite. Moolam bhaktir na viraktihi na hetuhu kvachidapi. The root cause of elimination of fascination is devotion and not reverse anywhere, since nowhere elimination is cause. The real reason for the total elimination of fascination is the devotion or attraction to God, which is the prerequisite. It is not vice versa, in which the elimination of fascination is the prerequisite. Hence, one should not and need not try for elimination of fascination to worldly bonds before or at any stage of Nivrutti. By such elimination, Nivrutti can't be achieved at all due to the taste of drunk divine nectar. Taste for coffee is spontaneously dropped out. By succeeding in controlling the taste for coffee and by leaving its, none can attain the divine nectar. Hence, all the effort in Nivrutti is only to develop devotion to God and not to detach from worldly bonds. 10th one. The mind attracted to anything other than God is useless due to the absence of God's blessings. Nanyakarsanam bhagavato nanugrahat yogarthat cha. Attraction of mind to any point other than God can't be useful due to the absence of blessings from God. Today, yoga is projected as the attraction of the mind to other points like respiration, as in pyramid, meditation, etc., so that the diverted mind will not suffer the misery during that time. This is only a temporary measurement of relief. If the concentrated point is God, since the omnipotent God is pleased to give blessings, such a concentration on God can also give permanent relief. Yoga means attainment of concentration on God and not attainment of concentration on any other worldly item. 11th one. Even partial devotion reduces the fascination to bonds in the worldly path. Anyatrapagamayapi pachika bhaktirevalam. To control the excessive fascination to worldly bonds in pravritti also, partial devotion to God alone is sufficient. Partial devotion to God is possible to any theist, and hence partial control of the force of fascination to worldly bonds is possible to theistic human beings. Since devotion does not require any strenuous prerequisite like elimination of fascination, it is sufficient if you start your effort to develop the devotion to God, which in partial state itself controls the fascination. That is sufficient to control the act of sin in the beginning itself. Nivrutti itself is a solution of pravritti. 12th one. Thieves can also sin when their devotion is low, but they are better than atheists. Astikeshvapi pakshika balabhavat varanastikat. Even in these sins in pravritti are seen sins. This partial devotion is also less, but such thieves are also better than an atheist. We see that even theists having partial devotion are doing sins in pravritti. This means that even this partial devotion is weak, which provokes them to do sins. But these thieves are somewhat better than an atheist in doing sins, since there is at least a psychological control in doing sins due to fear for hell and devotion to God. 13th. With devotion to God as the ultimate aim, the intermediate worldly goal is achieved easily. Marga madhya pravritti sulabha nivrutti gamya. Nivrutti is the ultimate goal, reaching the intermediate goal of pravritti in the path is very easy. Hence, if one starts the spiritual effort fixing nivrutti as ultimate goal, the aspirant shall certainly achieve the intermediate pravritti goal in very easy manner, because it is easy to achieve the higher goal in the journey of the effort towards highest goal. Hence, the fundamental aspect of nivrutti is to have faith in the existence of unimaginable God, and further effort is to improve the devotion to God. By these two, pravritti can be easily achieved. 14th. The atheist fails in the very first step, Mula nashto nastikaha. The atheist is lost in the fundamental step itself. By this logic, one can easily understand that attaining success in pravritti is unimaginable for an atheist, since the fundamental itself is lost, which is the faith in the existence of the unimaginable God. 15. The misleading argument of atheists results in sin. Tadvado brahmakaha papayeva. Their argument is misleading, which results in performing sin only. The argument of atheists that ethics in the society can be followed even without believing the existence of unimaginable and omnipotent is false, that misleads anyone to commit sins by taking care of the controlling agencies of the government like courts, etc. on this earth. 16th. Righteousness is doing good to the good and bad to the wicked. Sin is opposite. Shrestha paraha tadanvayavyatireko paratra chagnihi sarge. The word para means a good person and need not be taken as any other person, and hence application with contradiction is done. In other religions also, the liquid fire of hell is mentioned, and hell and this earth are in his creation only. The scripture says that helping others is good and harming others is bad. Here, the meaning of the word para is taken as any other human being. This is wrong interpretation. The correct interpretation for the word para is a good person. Hence, the concept in application is doing good to good people and doing bad to bad people is good. The concept in contradiction is doing bad to good people and good or bad must be helped. This is not correct criticism because the scriptures of their own religious say that bad people are punished in liquid fire of hell. It means that their religions are also agreeing to do bad to bad people. Whether the place is the earth or external hell, it is one and the same, since both places are in his creation only. You can't say that one is not beaten in Bangalore even though that person is beaten in Mumbai. 17. See defects in oneself and merit in others to grow. Swadeshe paraguna dhruk vruddhai. Seeing own defects and merits in others is a path of self-construction. One should always see the defects in himself and in his religion and merits in others and other religions so that one can rectify the self and own religion. By this, one will be in the correct path of construction. Today, everybody sees his merits only and always defects in others, which is a path of self-destruction, compromising ego to self and jealousy to others. 18. My religion is universal. I criticize defects and appreciate merits impartially. Vishwamatam me viparitacha. My religion is universal religion, and hence I criticize Hinduism also and praise other religion in certain points. You should not misunderstand me that I am criticizing other religions because I am Hindu. I don't belong to any specific religion. I belong to universal religion, which comprises only merits of all religions. I have criticized blind recitation of scriptures without explaining the meaning in rituals, whereas in other religions I appreciate the scripture being read from book and explained by the priests. 19. The judge must be an impartial third party. So Arjuna withdrew from the war. Trutiyo nirnetadaiva rajanyaya sthanavat pardhorane tata. The third party shall be the judge like God, king, court, etc. And hence Arjuna withdrew himself from war. When you are one of the two opposing parties, you should not become the judge to decide the justice and punish the opposite party, since you will be always affected by prejudice being the party. Hence, you should control yourself in giving spontaneous reaction for every reaction taken on you, especially in giving punishment of death. You should be very careful, since killing is highest injustice. Arjuna withdrew from war, doubting the justice in killing innocent soldiers and good elders for the sake of bad Kauravas, and even was prepared for losing the self benefits of justified wealth. He left the decision of justice to Lord Krishna. You should not take law in your hands, becoming the judge of your case, and third impartial party like God, king, court, etc. shall decide. 20. Analysis reveals the corresponding fruits of the merits and faults of the Pandavas. Arjuna dharma draupadyadishu gunadosha palani vibhaktani. You can understand the fruits of merits and faults enjoyed by Arjuna, Dharma, Raja, Draupadi, etc. separately. Arjuna went to hell because of his haste vow taken to kill Karna. But his grandson was made the king of entire kingdom for taking back step in the war. The son of Dharmaraja was killed apart suffering in forest, since he played the forbidden sin of gambling. He went to heaven for his efforts to avoid killing Kauravas through Krishna's preaching. All the sons from the womb of Draupadi were killed for no reason, since she was always revengeful. The grandson of Subhadra was made ultimate king, since both were not revengeful. Only by patient analysis one can find merits and faults of both parties in a case, and results are separately enjoyed without any mutual cancellation by any soul. 21st. Souls are prejudiced, not God. Krishna allowed the killing of enemy soldiers ready to die for salary. Jivaha pakshapati siddha kritagna sainika vadho numataha. Except the Lord, every soul is prejudiced in giving judgment in his own case. Lord permitted to kill soldiers, since they were prepared based on gratitude. You need not argue that peace shown against violence leads to growth of indiscipline in the society. We are not telling that the sin shall not be punished. We are telling that the affected party should never be the judge, since conclusion will be biased. In the end, God Krishna killed his own son, called as Samba, for the sin committed by him in insulting the sages. If you see Dhritarashtra, he supported his sinful sons. Hence, Gandhari is not justified to give curse to Krishna, who is the mother of Kauravas. Except God, no other human being can be impartial, and hence Krishna gave the judgment to kill all supporters of injustice. Even the soldiers were prepared for death based on their gratefulness to their king for receiving salaries. Those who did not support injustice of Kauravas went to heaven. 22nd. God compensates your loss, revenge does not. Nashtan tuvaranam deivat na pratikriyayaha. Your loss is compensated by God and not at all by revenge. When somebody harmed you, you should not think of the punishment to such enemy, because the punishment of the opposite side will not compensate your loss in any way. If you leave the process of inquiry, its judgment, its punishment to God, you are compensated for your loss by the omnipotent God. Hence, revenge is foolishness, whereas patience to leave the case to God regarding revenge is the wisest way. श्रीकांताय कल्याण नदे नदेन्द्राम श्री वेंकटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम मंगलाशासन प्रेमदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यै सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम्.